is up, everyone, and welcome to the Vehicles of the Valley podcast. My name is Lucas Wilson, and this is Mr. Josh Spencer. Hello, sir.
Hello. Good to be here.
It is so good to be here with you because you're one of my favorite people. This is one of my favorite things to do, talk, because, some may say I'm full of myself, but I'm just full of the good time. You know what I mean?
I do.
That was a terrible joke, but you're going to like it later. Anyways, we're going to go over a lot of stuff today, a lot of information to give you. Mostly, though, we're going to have fun. Mr. Spencer here is a plethora of information that is pertinent to today and tomorrow also.
Well, I don't know about that, but I definitely like the car business. We have 3 dealerships in town. We do a lot of volume, so we're keeping our finger on the pulse, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's important to really convey that to people. The reason that we've had a lot of success, at least in my experience, is because of your ability to keep your finger on the pulse and teaching us how to do that, especially with the way the world is right now.
Yeah, the world's changing every single day, and the car business changes with it. I mean, cars are expensive, right? It's the second biggest purchase next to your house that you'll make in your life, and we run on razor-thin margins. So, when something changes in the market, everybody feels it.
Seriously. Yeah, it's so important to be exact in everything that we do.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about a big thing in the news.
Huge.
Tariffs.
Huge.
And how does that affect the people?
And
how does it affect cars?
I mean, what is a tariff?
Tariff is basically just a tax, right? It's a tax on imported goods. So, for example, if a good is imported right now, the big thing is Mexico and Canada. If a car is imported from Mexico, let's say, the company that's importing that vehicle has to pay that tax, that tariff, to get the vehicle in the United States. So the big question is, what does that do to prices?
Well, I mean, in my experience, anytime something gets added over here, it carries over to the next guy.
Yeah, companies can absorb some, but again, the car business runs on really thin margins, so we expect those extra costs to be passed on to the consumer at some point.
Yeah. I mean, today, in the car business, consumers are just as smart, if not smarter, than your average salesperson. So they all kind of register what it is that we're talking about. However, this is a pretty big deal.
It's a big deal.
It is unprecedented.
Yeah. There's lots of studies out there, but, I'm hearing this morning average car prices could be around $4,000, some as much as $12,000, depending on that specific vehicle. It's not just the vehicle itself, it's parts also.
Yeah.
So, some parts maybe, they start in the U.S., they go to Mexico to be refined, they go to Canada to be further refined. I looked at, for example, what it takes to make a piston. The aluminum starts in one country, goes to another country to be refined, then goes to a third country to be turned into a piston, to get back to the U.S. to be made into a piston for an engine. So it's not just the car itself, it's the parts. So sometimes it can be tariffed multiple times.
Which is most likely going to happen.
Yeah, so every car is going to be affected in some way, right? Nobody's getting away clean here, right? It's just a matter of how much, and when.
When I first heard about tariffs, I was surprised to find out, again, because I'm not a genius, and the word tariff was never really something we talked about growing up.
Sure.
But in the news, they start talking about it. I said, okay, well, that it sucks for foreign companies that do business here, but no, it's also domestic companies. If the parts or it goes out and comes back in, there's a tariff to be paid.
Yeah, people think that domestic brands like Ford and Chevy, for example, are exempt. Well, no, they're not. Most of those vehicles are either manufactured in Canada or Mexico. Our brands, for example, like we have Kia. We're fortunate enough to have some plants here in Georgia and Alabama, but we have some models affected too. I could tell you the Kia K4, which is our least expensive vehicle, so our most vulnerable, is manufactured in Mexico. Mazda as well, the Mazda 3 sedan is manufactured in Mexico. So even though we are, Korean and Japanese brands, it falls on us as well.
And I mean, we're okay right now. Right now, they're just talking about
We're okay right now. So it sounds like the administration is using this as a negotiation tactic, and hopefully that's the case. Detroit News reported this morning that the big 3 are anticipating this to last 2 or 3 months, hopefully less. And there's about a 60-day supply of dealer inventory on the ground, so it doesn't mean we'll see the price change today or tomorrow. But most likely, what we'll also see is manufacturing. Manufacturing plants, like in Canada, for example, like a Ford plant in Canada, may decide to halt production for a while. This morning, I read that the Ford Maverick and the Ford Bronco Sport are manufactured in Mexico, and they may stop production for a time to see if that or if the tariff issue resolves quickly, because they can't afford a 25%.
I mean, you know, you talk about the last time manufacturers discussed
Yeah,
to the world when they were
wasn't
going to halt
wasn't too
production.
long ago, was it?
It wasn't.
No,
You know,
COVID.
and not to get too into how crazy it was then, but specific to the car biz, manufacturers like, we're going to have to halt production.
Sure.
And that drastically diminished inventory.
Yeah, we had, I mean, factories closed for 2-3 weeks at a time, and the impact of just those few weeks was, I mean, felt for years. When you consider the fact that there's almost 20 million new cars sold every year in the market, and the demand is only growing. Yeah, we don't know what the impact will be, but if we look at just a couple of years ago on what that did for us, we're talking, a higher demand of new cars because people want to take advantage of that price before it goes up. Because let's be real, cars are never going to be cheaper again. This is the cheapest cars will ever be, whether it's
Right now.
tariffs or inflation, just life in general. Things are only getting more expensive from here on out.
And it's accelerated moving forward.
Yeah, at an unprecedented rate for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. And I think that's what's most important to both of us, to let our consumers know, like, hey, right now, it is a turning point. Like, if we knew come like, June, July of 2020, what was going to happen with inventory and what, like for us, for instance, we were told, hey, this is how many new cars you're going to get, period, plain and simple. You're not going to get any more. And it hurt us in a really big way.
It hurt. Yeah. For 2 years straight, we were told you can order, let's say 100 new cars. It doesn't matter if you have 500 consumers in line. This is all you're going to get because we have to keep it fair for every dealer. And it's a real possibility we'll see that again. And then what does that do to used car prices? Everybody saw, I mean, in COVID, used car prices were more expensive than new cars on a lot of models.
Yeah.
And that could very well happen again.
Yeah, I'll never forget the day that a customer came and bought a Tacoma from us, right? I don't remember the year. It was a newer one. It was new for the year. And then came back 2 months later because they wanted something else.
Yeah.
And their Tacoma.
And they had equity.
I was like, are you kidding
It's the
me?
weirdest thing.
I could not believe it. And I don't know if it's going to be like that, but I mean, all indications point to the market is constantly in a cycle, right?
Yeah. And look, we still have an inventory shortage from COVID. I mean,
100%.
The market was leasing 30%, then it went to no leasing. I mean, they're expecting our shortage to last through 2025 for sure, if not into halfway of 26 before inventory levels on the used car side get back to pre-COVID levels. So we're still recuperating from COVID. Now this is happening. And, I wish I had a crystal ball, but what I know for sure is cars won't be this cheap again.
Which is, is pretty much a nice way of saying, if you're thinking about getting a new car,
Now's the time. Or a used car.
Or a used car.
Now's the time.
Seriously.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about buying a car,
Get it while you can get it, and get it while the price is the way it is, before any more inflation, before
anything new comes up.
Yeah, before tariffs and anything new that may come up, right?
Yeah, because like you said, I think what I didn't even realize, you actually taught me this. When COVID happened with inventory, the new car shortage happened. But what they didn't talk about until like a year later was, because of all of the different pricing going up and the limited amount of supplies, nobody was leasing.
Right.
And because no one across the country, not really, was leasing for 2 years, those are some of the most prevalent used car inventory you'll find at any dealer across the country. So there's like a 2-year gap.
Exactly.
And like you said, we're just still recovering from that. And now this happens, and this is only one thing.
One thing. Of many possibilities, yeah.
Not to like continue to, beat the same drum, but like, guys, get it while the getting is good. Guys, here at the
There's a big one. It's a big one.
It's going to be huge. I mean,
This
people
is
are
a
gonna
big secret.
They're going to get mad at us.
I know, because we're revealing the secret.
Do you remember the magician that kept the mask on? He revealed all the tricks?
No.
Back in the day before,
Oh, yeah, he showed you how to pull the rabbit out and all that stuff?
all that stuff,
Yeah,
and he
yeah,
like ruined magicians.
Yeah, ruined it for you.
Well, we're not trying to ruin any magicians. We're just trying to break the mold on how the car business operates, because we already do things different. But for you guys, this is top secret info. Specifically today, we're going to have a bunch of these, and we're going to continue to release them to you.
Yep. We'll teach you everything you need to know.
How-tos.
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 So today, it's how to get the most money for your trade-in.
The most.
The most.
Whatever the top number is, we're going to show you how to get that one right above it. Right, I got trapped on my microphone, but right above it.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a trade. You could be selling your car, whether it's private party, but the idea is how to find out what your car is actually worth and how to get the most for it, right? And it's actually not that big of a secret, turns out, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like to sell it like it's a secret, trademark it, but the truth is it's a simple process.
Yeah, the truth is, just be realistic, okay? We all have a certain sentimental value with the car that we own, but go online. There's resources. Go to kellybluebook.com, click on trade-in value. And they have good, better, best, excellent, right? There's truecar.com. There's cars.com. All of these sites will give you some value basis to know what your car is worth. But what do you do with that information now? Do you sell it private party? Do you trade it in? What are the advantages to trading a car versus selling it private party?
Well, one of the biggest ones is tax savings.
Exactly.
That's huge.
So how does that work?
Well, it's real simple. I mean, for easy math, right? Let's say your car is worth 10 grand. You want to sell it private party for 10 grand.
Right.
Well, you get 10 grand, that's it.
Yep.
But that money that you were going to, you're getting that 10,000, you're going to go spend it on a new car.
Right.
To get tax savings, you take that same car. So for easy math,
10 grand.
We're getting 10 grand for it. We're going to go buy a $20,000 car.
Right.
Now, in the first part of the story, I said sell it. You get 10 grand. You're going to walk in and pay 20 grand for this new car plus tax. Tax on $20,000 is $1,600 or something like that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, 8.05, I think.
8.05%. So you pay that full tax amount on 20 grand.
Or
you trade your car. I give you $10,000. Now you only pay taxes on the difference. That means instead of a $20,000 tax liability, it's now a $10,000 tax liability, and you're only paying
So you're paying $800 in tax. You literally cut your tax in half.
which means your net value for your trade is almost 11. I like to round up.
No, I get it.
And the opposite is true. Is if you would have sold a private party, then your net, because you got to pay that taxes, is $9,200, which is right. What is that? So that's a $1,600 swing.
And now that's not the same for every state, but here in Arizona, that's how it works, and it's a big advantage for sure.
It's huge.
Now, if you didn't want to purchase a new vehicle, you just want to sell your car. So you've done some research, you kind of know what it's worth, and you make the determination if it's excellent or good condition. Now what? I mean, nobody really likes selling their car on the street because you got weirdos calling you. They're trying to negotiate.
Is it still available?
You don't want them to come to your house and know where you live. So what other options do you have?
There's not many until
the
Mark Auto Group came and introduced the Mark Auto Group buying team.
Yeah, it's pretty easy too.
Yeah, it's straightforward. We're not going to text you at 2 in the morning. Is this still available? That's not going to happen.
No, matter of fact, what we're going to do is we're going to reach out. We're going to pay you fair market value. We use the same tools you do, usually kellybluebook.com. We also use TrueCar. We also use cars.com for trade-in values. And we look at an aggregate of those numbers. We'll do a quick inspection, and we usually have you a check within 24 hours. And no weirdos calling you, nobody coming to your house.
Yeah.
It's got to be the easiest way to do it.
100%. And not only that, but it's a reputable dealer. We know what it means to want to sell a car and not have to deal with the crazies at night.
We do.
And we also know what it means to not have the inventory we're looking for. So with that being said, we're always paying top dollar. One might argue I may pay too much.
For sure.
But I'd rather pay
we
you
often
too much.
pay too much.
Yeah. Because, we've discussed this earlier in earlier episodes, but the used car market is only going to continue to get more expensive.
Yeah,
for
there's
dealers
a shortage of cars
specifically.
now. The shortage is going to continue, especially if this tariff thing happens. And we have a solution for that.
So just like we shared with you guys, there's never been a cheaper time to buy a car right now. We also are aware of that, and we want your car. So we'll pay you for your car top dollar while I got cars waiting for you to get the best deal that you'll ever get, period.
So you can come in, you can get that value, and you can change your mind and decide to trade it and still get that tax savings.
Amen.
Yeah.
And who doesn't like savings on taxes?
I do.
Come on. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, it was fun.
It has been an absolute pleasure being here with you, sir, talking about the thing we love the most, that is the car biz and taking care of our customers. Please don't hesitate to reach out because, again, we love what we do. This was a lot of fun. I know this was your first one, sir, but dang it, you're a natural.
You know what? We're happy to answer any questions you may have, even if it's not one of our brands. Here's a resource, so give us a call.
Give us a call. Follow us on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. We're all over the place, and you're going to see a whole lot more of us.
And we'll be
moving
back
forward.
and give you all kinds of new nitty-gritty details on the car business
And the top secret info you're going to need
to make an informed decision.
Come on. Come back and see us.
See ya.